Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Steve Larson, and you're listening to Secret MLM Hacks Radio. Oh yeah. So here's the real mystery. How do real MLMers like us, who didn't cheat and only bug family members and friends, who want to grow a profitable home business, how do we recruit A players into our downlines and create extra incomes, yet still have plenty of time for the rest of our lives? That's the blaring question, and this podcast will give you the answer. My name is Steve Larson, and welcome to Secret MLM Hacks Radio. Hey guys, glad that you're here. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I appreciate it. Just so you guys know, this podcast is about to hit 8,000 downloads, and it's only been around for a few months, which is awesome. Thanks to all the leaders out there. Thanks to all the listeners out there. Thanks to all the people who are out there hustling. You guys are awesome. Really appreciate the support to this podcast. The whole purpose of this podcast is to show you more about how we actually market in our MLM and how we're using different principles from different industries to be successful with it. So I have been creating more of my product, which helps you auto-recruit people into your downline. Now, it's a system that I've been using on my own for the last almost year and a half, and it's been working. It's been a lot of fun, and I really, really enjoyed it. I just got another message today, someone saying that they joined, which is great. And what's cool about it is that I've never met them. Now, I'm not trying to say to take the human out of your business, but how cool is it that the whole system is taking care of it and continue to bring more and more people in, which is awesome. By the way, shout out to those of you guys who went over to the joinmydownline.com funnel, something I talked about last episode. Now, again, just so you guys know, and so the elephant's out of we call the elephant out of the room. I will never, ever, 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 ever pitch anybody into joining my downline, ever. I don't do that. That's not my thing. Rule number one is that they come to me, right? And I think I talked about that an episode or two ago. Those of you guys who went over and did check it out and did apply, that's really cool. That's awesome of you. And if you don't want to, I don't care. That's the whole point. That's why this works. Okay, I will never even tell you what I'm a part of on this thing, and for a lot of reasons. And so I just don't. This is such a low pressure thing because what I've been doing has been working really well, and I've honestly felt a little bit of an obligation to share what it is that I've been doing. I've been taking a lot of the principles and things that I do and teach inside the internet marketing industry, which is very different. But then I go and I plug them into the MLM world, and not many people I've ever seen actually do this, which frankly blows my mind. And because of that, I've had at least 5 MLM owners reach out. I've had a lot of people reach out about the systems that I use, and it's a lot of fun. I think what's so much fun about it is that it requires the individual to grow. You have to learn how to market in order for these things to work, which is very exciting. And that's honestly what the purpose of this podcast is. And my new and upcoming product called Secret MLM Hacks. If you want to follow the whole launch of it, go to secretmlmhacks.com. And anyway, hey, let's jump into the content today. So, what I thought it would be cool to share with you guys today is what's called the prolific index. Okay, the prolific index is what's a good example of this? Have you ever been talking to somebody who's trying to pitch you on a product, and it sounds exactly like another product you've heard before? Right? Or again, someone else is pitching you on a product, or let's say someone's talking about to you about their opportunity. Typically, if you've been in an MLM, you've been in another one also. You know what I mean? Let's say that someone is actually pitching you to join their MLM, and it is boring. I mean, it's so boring. Everything they're saying is mainstream. Everything they're saying is so, like, you've heard it before. They're even using some lines that you've used before. You know what I mean? I know you guys know those people. I know that you've heard those people before. You know exactly what it is. It's like to get pitched that way. You know exactly what it's like to meet those kinds of people. And it's boring. It's not that it's just mainstream. It's that they are literally being boring. And you're like, man, this person doesn't even like their own thing, or they're not excited, or whatever it is. You know what I mean? That's painful. That's not a fun experience to be a part of that. And obviously, and you say, well, duh, Steven, of course. Now let's take it on the flip side. Let's take it to another area. Let's take it to another spot where someone has pitched a product to you, or you've been walking down the street and someone came up and they were overbearing. They were way too intense. They were way too strong. And in fact, even what they were pitching you sounds so far-fetched so many promises. There's no way it could be true. There's no way they could actually fulfill on what it is they're actually doing, right? That's another end of the spectrum. That's like the complete opposite, right? Well, where you want to be in the prolific index is in between those two, where you're not in the crazy zone, you're not in the nutcase zone, you're not in the hey, rub this coconut oil on your elbows and suddenly you'll be rich area. You know what I mean? Like that's the super nuts area where people go into and they say, hey, this is going to change all your solve all your problems and you'll be wealthy beyond your wildest imaginations and you won't have to do anything your entire life. You know what I mean? That's crazy. That's nuts. That's not true. That's total nuts. Right? And then back to the whole boring zone where everything's so mainstream and everything sucks and everything's like, you want to be in the middle. Okay? And one of the reasons why people struggle inside the MLM space so much is because they sell on the mainstream. They sell right in boring zone. And the way they deliver it is boring. And you know what's funny is if I speak normally on this podcast, it comes across as boring as well. For whatever reason, when I speak into this microphone right now and it pops out the other side, it actually tones my message down. It tones my tone down. It actually turns down my tone. It turns down my excitement level, takes it down a notch, takes it down a level. And that's what ends up happening as well when you're speaking to people face to face or over some message, or even if it's in writing, they can still hear your voice through the words. Right, and you want to be in between those two zones. Okay, there's the super mainstream zone, and then there's like the nutcase crazy zone, where it's super out in la la land. Right, you can't sell really on either spots. The way sales work is they're all curiosity based. Okay, whenever you don't have a curiosity on your side, you have to sell logically, which sucks. It sucks. It sucks because you got to go in and you got to start saying, you got to start competing on price. You got to start competing on the comp plan. You got to start competing, and it's like, ugh. You know what's so funny is that if we also increase our excitement level about what it is we actually do, you're actually going to get more people in. Okay, and that's true for selling a product as it is true for selling your actual opportunity as well. Okay, there's a great sentence here. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. Maybe you haven't, but it's called the One Sentence Persuasion Course. And the One Sentence Persuasion Course is, who's this by again? I can't even remember. Blair Warren. Okay, Blair Warren said this. Now, this is awesome. Now, if you've never heard the One Sentence Persuasion Course, it is literally one sentence. But this could change everything you're doing inside your MLM. So please just pay attention to what it is that you're doing and how you actually deliver your message. Okay? Listen to this. And think of this in context with the prolific index. Okay? Are you boring? Are you mainstream? Or are you in the nutcase zone? Like, you got to be in the middle. Okay? That's where curiosity lies. That's where your ability to actually close sales with urgency and scarcity lie, right? If you're in the kind of in the mainstream zone, you can't really have scarcity and urgency. Those are the only two tools a marketer actually has. All right, start thinking through your MLM. Start thinking through your pitch. Start thinking through how it is you're actually talking with people, and listen to this sentence, the one sentence persuasion course. Okay, this is what he says: people will do anything for those who encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them throw rocks at their enemies. That's the whole sentence. That's the whole course. Okay, let me say it one more time. People will do anything for those who will encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them throw rocks at their enemies. Interesting. Okay, now, here's where the challenge is. Here's where the challenge is with your MLM. The challenge with your MLM is to go take the script that your upline is giving you to sell with, and we're going to start drizzling on some glaze. We're going to start taking some glaze from this one sentence persuasion course, and we're going to start dropping it all over the top of the script that you've given, okay? How can you encourage the dreams of those you're going to be pitching? Right now, I think that's pretty simple. I think a lot of MLMs actually get that one right? Which is, hey, you're going to make extra money. Hey, what's it going to be like when you can retire at a young age? Hey, what's it going to be like when your kids are going to be set for life? Hey, what's it going to be like when you're getting at least 10 grand a month? You know what I mean? I think they do a great job at encouraging their fears. Let's talk about justifying failures, though. All right, justify failures. How can you justify failures for those that you're pitching into your MLM, whether joining your MLM or the product itself, right? Oh, it's not your fault you didn't do well. It's not your fault that it didn't work out. It's actually this thing's over here. You know what? It didn't even exist before. It's not even a fault. This option that I'm giving you right now, it did not even exist beforehand. It did not exist when you were trying it. It's not even your fault you didn't try this before because the option wasn't even there to truly be successful yet. Right? That's kind of the vernacular you'd say with something like that. So justify their failures, allay their fears. Now, the allay their fears means to reduce. Means to reduce, means to drop, means to diminish. How do you diminish the fears of the other person? Okay, now to do that, first of all, you got to understand what those fears are. And some people are going to have a hard time opening up their fears to you, especially if they don't trust you yet, right? If you're not friends, if you're cold pitching, if you're cold prospecting, whatever it is. So the allaying the fears one, typically you can go with time, money, and resources. Hey, you don't have enough time. Hey, you don't have enough money. Hey, you don't have enough resources, right? Time, money, and resources, that's a big one. Internal fears, I'm not good enough. I don't know how to talk to people. I don't know how to approach others. I don't know what to say, right? Those are internal fears as well. And then there's like fears that have to do with the opportunity itself. Well, I don't know if this is good. Are you going to take all my money? Am I going to have to talk to all my friends and family? Will I lose them? Those are all the different fears that could pop up when especially when you're talking to people about joining your MLM. Another one is confirming suspicions. Okay. I'm going to teach you the ethical way to grow your downline. What ethical way? You mean there's an unethical way, right? Anyway, that's a fun one. I like that one a lot. And then help them throw rocks at their enemies. Now, there doesn't need to be a person that you're throwing rocks at, but it can be a concept, right? Very, very popularly in the MLM world is to throw rocks at the 9-to-5 concept, right? Oh, I'm working for myself, right? 9 to 5, right? And I'm running, I'm sprinting, I'm getting all my people in place, but I'm throwing. And so it's very, very common in the MLM world, especially to throw rocks at the 9 to 5. Which is great. It works, But how else can you do that? The thing that you got to remember with all this is that you're helping the prospect throw rocks at their enemies, not your enemies, right? You're helping to justify the failures of the prospect, not your own failures, right? You're helping to confirm the suspicions of the prospect, not your own suspicions. Put yourself in the shoes of the other person that you're getting to. That's why it's such a cool business. That's why MLM is such a relationship business. It has to be a relationship business. How can you know what the dreams of the other person are without getting to know them? How can you know what the failures are without getting to know them? How can you know what really the enemies are of that person without getting to know them? You know what I mean? And when you learn what those things are, these are elements of persuasion. This is the one sentence persuasion course. And if you can start to learn what this one sentence persuasion course is and kind of combine that with the prolific index, which is to not be mainstream and not to be on the in la crazy land, you're going to be, the way you speak to people, the actual way you speak to people is going to be far more persuasive than anyone else I can, the most people inside the MLM space in general. Does that make sense? And so start thinking through your MLM. How can I justify, and you might actually have, let's say you have people who are already inside your downline, which is great. Congrats. That's awesome. If you have people who are already inside your downline right now, how can you justify the failures of those who are in your downline? How can you allay their fears? How can you confirm their suspicions? How can you help them throw rocks at their enemies and encourage their dreams? Right? How can you do those things? And that helps them move along. That helps them push them along. Every single entrepreneur I've ever heard of in my life encounters failure. If they're not, it means they're not trying, right? You better be failing your face off with great speed. You know what I mean? So how can you be doing that with people who are inside your downline? How can you be doing that with people you're trying to prospect to? And start combining that with the prolific index. All right. If you're selling just the mainstream stuff in a mainstream way, man, no one's gonna. You're gonna be boring. You're gonna be so boring. No one buys boring, right? Only ambitious people buy boring, right? And most people aren't ambitious, so you just cut your market way down. Okay, don't sell to ambitious people. You sell to the rest of humanity. Anyway, that's another lesson as well. But anyway, hey guys, I hope that this has been a helpful episode. It's a little bit more technobabble. I kind of dove deep into some more concepts, but start thinking through what these things are. In hindsight, when it really comes down to it, and when all is said and done, the only real tools that a marketer has is scarcity and urgency. That's it. How can you make your MLM scarce? How can you make your product scarce? How can you increase urgency? Well, this one sentence persuasion course and the prolific index, kind of combining those things together with that, those are really easy ways to boost your MLM. Boost the status of it, boost the desirability of what it is they're actually selling. Anyway, a lot of technobabble this round. I'm so sorry for all that, but I hope that it helps. You start to think through and start to see, like, look, you just can't be selling the same thing as everyone else. You're mainstream. You're boring. Can't go to the other side either in wacko land. You got to be in the middle, right? Got to be in the exciting zone where you're kind of living on the edge, but not off the edge. Jumping over the edge. Anyway, guys, hope you're doing great, and please go apply this stuff. I would love to know those of you guys who are, and I'd love to see your comments. A lot of you guys have been commenting on this stuff lately. It's been a lot of fun. If you would, that would be awesome too. If you mind going in iTunes and just leave a review for this podcast, that helps like crazy. Helps me, but also helps all the people who are trying to find this kind of information, find it easier in the little iTunes algorithm. Anyway, it just means a lot to me too, honestly. It actually takes me a solid hour to an hour and a half per episode to put these things out. So it actually does get me super excited when I see the things coming back. So anyway, you guys are awesome. Appreciate you. Talk to you later. Bye. Hey, thanks for listening. Please remember to subscribe and leave feedback for me. Do you have a question you want answered live on the show? Go to secretmlmhacksradio.com to submit your question and download your free MLM Masters Pack.